Welcome. Once upon a time, in a world very different from ours, there lived a man named Noah. Now, Noah was a good and righteous man, someone who walked closely with God. But the world around him was filled with violence, corruption, and people who had lost their way. Every day, Noah saw people hurting each other, lying, stealing, and doing things that were far from what God had intended. One day, God spoke to Noah and told him that he was going to cleanse the earth of all this evil and start anew. But because Noah was faithful, God had a special plan for him and his family. God gave Noah an extraordinary task. "Build an ark," he said, "a massive boat made of gopher wood, with rooms inside and coated with pitch to keep it waterproof." God provided Noah with specific instructions, down to the length, width, and height, showing how serious this mission was. Now, imagine Noah, an elderly man, in a time when rain was a rare phenomenon, telling his neighbors he was building a gigantic boat because a flood was coming. People laughed and mocked him. They thought he was crazy. But Noah stayed committed to what God had told him. Day after day, he and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, worked tirelessly to build this enormous ark. With each hammer's thud and saw's cut, they were not just building a boat, they were building their faith. And then the animals began to arrive, 2 of every kind, just as God had instructed. Lions and lambs, elephants and eagles, each pair walking into the ark as if they knew their purpose. Imagine the scene. A procession of animals, some roaring, others bleating, all following an unseen command. It was a sight to behold. Finally, when the ark was finished and the animals were inside, God told Noah to enter the ark with his family. Then the sky began to darken and heavy clouds gathered above. Raindrops, at first just a few, started to fall. Soon, those drops turned into a torrential downpour. The people who had laughed at Noah's warnings were now desperately trying to find shelter. But it was too late. The floodwaters rose, covering the earth, higher and higher, until even the tallest mountains disappeared beneath the waves. For 40 days and 40 nights, rain poured down, and the world was washed clean. Inside the ark, Noah, his family, and the animals waited. They could hear the storm raging outside, but they were safe in God's care. After many months, the waters finally began to recede. One day, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. To see if the land had dried, Noah sent out a dove, and it returned with an olive leaf in its beak, a sign of new life. When they finally stepped out of the ark, Noah built an altar to thank God for his protection. And God made a promise, a covenant, never to flood the earth again. As a sign of this promise, he set a rainbow in the sky, a beautiful arc of colors reminding Noah and every generation to come of God's mercy and faithfulness. And so, the story of Noah's Ark is not just about survival, it's a story of faith, obedience, and hope. A story that shows us what it means to follow God even when the world is against you. And just like that rainbow in the sky, it reminds us that after every storm, there's a promise of new beginnings. Remember, God loves you. Please click the link below to support the channel.